There's this woman that I know who makes me think deep thoughts about myself. There's a look in her eye and a way that she smiles. It's as if she's learned secrets or holds the key to some wisdom she's found. It's not money or power or position she holds. She just celebrates being alive. It's not really a secret, you see, that she's found. It's something each of us has. It gets lost sometimes, or just covered up, or we think someone takes it away. So I'll hold on to the thoughts that she's made me think, and I'll be unafraid to grow. For that's step one, and the first thing to learn, if I want to be all I can be. I'll never know all the thoughts of this woman, this friend who touched my life, but she touched my mind, and I now know the truth she's found, that to live is the game, and I've already won, because life itself is the prize.
Working with over 7,000 students in 45 public, private, and parochial schools, TLC's message is loud and clear.
If you would walk into any classroom of about 25 children, there would be one boy and two girls who had made a serious suicide attempt. That's the statistic.
Teen suicide is what number? Leading killer of teens in the United States. Look at me. The third leading killer of teens. The first one is homicides, and number two, car accident.
Since 1953, when Sir Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay became the first to stand on the summit of Everest, some 180 intrepid mountaineers have lost their lives in the attempt. The odds on reaching the summit and surviving can drop to as low as 1 in 6, one death for every 6 successful climbs. If Mother Nature and Everest herself do not add their own devilish twist. This is the reality of the task ahead. The day-to-day reality for teens is they often are straining their capabilities to the limits, juggling far beyond what they can reasonably handle.
I think teenagers' life is very tough nowadays, and even more so today than several years back. I think the pressure on them is so much greater.
The most horrible thing to think about is, for a parent, a child dying by his or her own hand.
If you think, even remotely think, that your child is depressed, for God's sake, get him help.
Sometimes climbing out of depression is as difficult as climbing the highest mountain. And anybody who's been in depression, that can really resonate with them.
I've always been very scared of heights. And still today, when I'm on the mountain, yeah, I don't like to look down. But part of it is conquering your fears. I think it's so important. I don't want fears limiting my life. So if I know I'm afraid of something, I feel the need of conquering and overcoming it, because I don't want my life limited by external circumstances.
Crossing over a metal ladder spanning a bottomless crevice, Monica loses her footing, but catches herself in time.
That was horrible.
In 2004, a Japanese woman climber made a similar error with fatal results. Her remains are still visible to every mountaineer looking down.
We know that people die here. It is no use getting to the summit like Mike Reinberger and collapsing on the summit and dying. So be careful, be alert, be aware of your own ability. It's not worthwhile dying on this mountain.
The objective is to climb Everest, but it's only the objective. And the objective can change by the day. The goal will never change, is to return safely.
While scrambling up the North Ridge, 40-knot wind gusts nearly caused the team to lose their footing. Pushing past Camp 2 to Camp 3, they enter the death zone above 26,000 feet, where the atmosphere is not conducive to sustaining life. At Camp 4, Team Monica digs in for the final summit assault.
Everything went wrong that possibly could go wrong. The tents, when we had arrived in Camp 4, were completely shredded. So we didn't have the equipment. We had to find new tents and set them up. I had used up way too much oxygen. We had gone very fast. We basically were running up the mountain to try to catch up, because if you're not at a certain point, at some point, they'll turn you back.
Sarah, do we have any oxygen up there?
So I asked the ship, I said, where are the hidden oxygen tanks? said, we don't have any. We didn't hide any. I said, I was promised that oxygen tanks were being hidden at the higher levels for emergencies. He said, well, we don't have any. And I had already figured that if I was on the summit without oxygen, my oxygen level would drop, saturation level would drop into the 30s. Because I dropped 10 points for every 1,000 feet. So I knew if I dropped into 30s on the top of Everest, I'd be dead within half an hour. And I was lucky enough that Pu Adesina, the main Sherpa, who had been my Sherpa on Choyu, he was 15 minutes ahead of me. And with the group we had finally basically caught up with, and he radioed back that he had an extra oxygen tank on his back, and he would give it to me. So once I heard that, I knew I could trust Pu. I said, okay, now we can go on. But I'd like to know my risk and then accept what I do, but I don't do things blindly.
On June 4th, at approximately 8:15 a.m., after an epic journey fraught with doubts and delays, Monica Kalasdy stands on the summit of Mount Everest. Chomolungma, mother goddess of the universe, embraces the first female from Louisiana to reach the roof of the world. Struggling against powerful gust, Monica fulfills her promise, unfurling the banner of teen life counts.
What the mountain has taught me is that one step at a time is the lesson, the most valuable lesson to take, and that material things is not what's important in life. What's important in life is really your family and your friends and the emotional people around you, and that's really what counts. When you're in the mountain, you're ripped of everything. I mean, you don't even change your clothes for a week sometime. I don't take a brush with me. None of that counts. And you really find that those emails that you get from your friends, the family, knowing that they're there for you. Yes, that's the most important thing, and that one day, one step at a time is the most important. You have to look at life one day at a time.
I'll never know all the thoughts of this woman, this friend who touched my life, but she touched my mind, and I now know the truth she's found, that to live is the game, and I've already won, because life itself is the prize.